Wednesday, January 25th, Blakk Rasta, a Ghanian activist and reggae artist, came to the UCM campus to provide a public lecture entitled Radio as the most effective tool for radical change.
Well, we've been trying to increase think of it as global programming within religious studies. We want students and the community to recognize that when we study religion, we aren't just looking at American churches and American synagogues and mosques. We're looking at the world, at the way cultures interact. And Albion Menz, one of the instructors who was here tonight, knows Blakk Rasta personally. They had been corresponding and talking and came up with the idea that it would be lovely if he could visit campus. Proposed it to me. I took it to the other programs that I mentioned, and they were able to help us with funding, and we got lucky.
In his lecture, Blakk Rasta talks about radio being the most effective way to reach mass audiences in Africa. Radio broadcasts are more prevalent because they are cheaper and more people have access to them than televisions. The country of Ghana alone has 26 million people.
Listening to him talk about the importance of Africans hearing programming in their local languages was really something that I can play on in my classes, because this idea that yes, you may have an African identity at large. You may speak English in your professional life or your educational life, or French, as he was mentioning. But really, so much of who you are is the language that your mother spoke to you in your cradle. And that is something that you want to hear, that, based on what he said in some of my classes, that you want to hear in your religious life as well. So I think we'll be playing on that.
Blakk Rasta's visit to UCM was intended to be more than a one-day event. In addition to giving a lecture, he also provided a free reggae concert in Hendricks Hall.
I really enjoyed the event. I was looking forward to watching the lecture as well as attending the concert. I was, exposed to the event just through the Mule Skinner and the press release. I wanted to see what Blakk Rasta was all about. I have a couple of Jamaican friends and they're really into his reggae music, and so I wanted to come and meet him and enjoy his company, as well as kind of hear a little bit more about the history to Ghana and his activism, and as well as the environmental issues. And so I enjoyed it. I thought there was a good atmosphere. I think there was a really good crowd as well.
Music, song, and dance is a very important part of African culture. Dance, storytelling, and religious practices are all grounded in music. It is essential in representing a strong African heritage. They say music is universal. However, American-influenced music does not hold the same traditional values as that of the African culture.
Being in America on social media, you see a lot of things about how there are people going across the seas and helping in Africa, building schools and churches, and there's activism there and volunteering, and I think that's fantastic. But you don't get to see that depth of how much is going on whenever you're in America. So having a different perspective from that was something that was really fresh and that I really enjoyed, just because I don't get to see the same perspective that he does. And so that's something that was kind of a shock, just because you don't get exposed to the same things as being there,
The support Blakk Rasta received while at UCM was great, and the faculty associated with bringing him to the campus was very pleased with the turnout at both events. Thanks for watching. This has been Brianna Dalton reporting for Lowdown.